Hey guys, Rob here for South Florida Builds. Quick video about something I got a question on. Buckling and popping on the floor on these in hard wake and heavy chop. It is absolutely critical that you follow the manufacturer's recommended air pressure in order to avoid this problem. If you have your boat underinflated, you're not giving enough pressure and support to those struts that are holding your floor firm and rigid, and you're causing undue stress on all the joints as well as your transom. The most important thing that you have to remember is that if you don't have proper pressure, and this is directly related to the keel, the bottom of the boat is not going to have the appropriate shape. It's not going to be rigid enough, and you're going to get cavitation issues with your engine. For those of you who don't know, cavitation is when you get a sudden rev in your motor RPMs, and it feels like the prop isn't gripping the water anymore. It's because air is getting down in the prop, and you're getting prop wash. This can occur from the motor being either too deep or too high in the water, a multitude of different factors. But in the case with these boats, it has to do with underinflated keel, not giving the proper shape towards the back of the boat to deflect the water where it needs to go for hydrodynamics. Okay? When inflating these boats, you want to always inflate them from front to back. This is with Saturns. Other boats may vary. The reason why is you have a pressure release valve on the front tube. So what happens is when the pressure gets too high to where it can become dangerous, it vents that pressure off. The problem is on these boats, the rear tubes do not have a pressure release valve. Okay, you might have the 488 model, the 16-footer, which has an extra tube in the middle here. Doesn't matter. This is all going to relate front to back. The reason why is where the tubes meet, there is something called a bellow inside there, okay? That bellow is like a half semicircle of fabric that can swing one way or the other between the two chambers. They do this for a reason. You're going to bring the front tube up to max PSI on the Saturn, bringing the bellow rearward. When you bring the second chamber up, it's going to come to the same pressure as that, so the bellow is going to remain facing this direction. Same thing will now go for the rear. Pressure's already up, the bellow's facing to the rear, and when you bring the rear tube up, it's going to hold. Now what happens? You're out on the water. It's getting hot late in the day. Sun's directly above. That's a big problem. Things start getting really, really hot. The pressure of the front tube, it's going to release through that valve. So what happens for the rear? As the pressure goes down in the front, that bellow starts going forward. Lesser pressure up front than rear. It's giving that extra, cubic foot of volume space to offset that pressure in that rearward tube. Same thing will go for the one behind it if we're talking about the 488, and everything will be just fine. There is a max level pressure and the recommended pressure. You'll notice that the max recommended pressure is way higher than the recommended pressure for running, which means there's a good amount of overpressure these tubes can handle without any issue. They just know what will work. They're giving you the minimum pressure that'll get the job done and do it without having to go any higher, and that's why they do what they do. Now, as far as the creaking and popping of the floor goes, that's going to happen. I mean, it's a sieve after all. It's not a rib. You can't compare apples to oranges, right? You're going to get some noise. I use some outdoor carpeting that I lay over top of my floor, which helps with the noise a little bit. But bottom line, guys, it's a PVC boat. It's a sieve. It's meant to be cost effective and fun and durable and functional. And it absolutely is at a great price point. It's never going to be able to compete with an aluminum or a fiberglass rigid hull and performance, and it's never going to be the quietest thing on the water, nor should it be at the price point, right? So there are some caveats to these boats, and that's one of them, and I don't think it's really that bad a trade-off. There's some other things you could do. I noticed Saturn came out with a military boat that has almost like sea decking that comes on the fiberglass floor panels, and it would be nothing to go on Amazon and get some of that sheeting and do it yourself to your own boat, but it does wear out. The sun beats on it and it starts peeling up, and I hear it's a mess to do it. So I like the outdoor carpet. I haven't had it come up or off while I've been running yet, and I got it off Temu, so it's very cost effective. It's just an outdoor, like a foam back carpet, and it's perfectly fine. A little more pleasant on the bare feet too. So guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope it's helpful. I hope the information helps you. As always, if you have any additional questions that I didn't answer in the video or something else you'd like to ask, just go ahead and put it in the comments below. I hope you like and subscribe, and until next time, guys,